What up, guys? Today I have a super useful set of tips for you guys, help you understand making beats in a more unique way. Producers taking like a short sample of an already existing song, putting it on repeat to create a totally new vibe. We're gonna start by making some smaller loops. So you want to create a pattern that's kind of catchy like that. It's only one bar long. I'm just going to repeat that across. Hit Command R. What I like to do is, if I make a one bar pattern that repeats, I like to go into the second bar and just kind of change things up a little bit so it stays interesting. So that's still repetitive, but it stays interesting. And let's lay down some chord notes below. And then I'm going to go down 4. When you're making these patterns, if you want it to be harder sounding, keeping it on the root note of the 1 of the scale is going to be a dope way to get that sound. So I'm just going to take that pattern that already repeats and we're just going to loop it twice over and join that up. So from here I'm going to duplicate piano track and just lay down some kind of lead. We're going to make that pretty repetitive as well. That's a good little lead. And then let's see, I think I want to do like a little ARP sweep. Okay, now I'm listening to the current melody, looking for kind of gaps. Let's go to 30-second notes. Double that over and pitch it up. And then I'm just gonna sweep that velocity up. Okay, so I just pulled up the sound for the main chord MIDI. Gonna keep the arpeggiator on the stock piano, but I want to throw some delay on there. This delay plugin is free, by the way. And let's throw a little bit more QRS on there to space it out some more. The second sweep up an octave. Go through some sound selection. I like that. I'm gonna EQ out some of the highs, and I'm gonna stretch these notes out so they glide into each other. Okay, let's go into the EQ. Much cleaner that way. Boost the reverb a little bit too. I'm just going to leave it at that. Takes care of the elements of the melody. And now I'm just going to flip it a little bit for a second part. And let's start with maybe some beat breaker. Get something choppy in here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with Shaper Box next and mess with it even more. Let me just cut out some lows with the EQ. Bounce it down one last time. Okay, here's that first loop. And loop number 2. Clean. Let's go ahead and pull up some drums from my SOUTHPAW drum and loop kit. All the kit linked in description if you guys need some hard sound. Start with auditioning some basic drums for this loop. Alright, let's grab a snare and an open hat now. That'll work. Now let's get some hat rolls in there. Just taking those 2 notes out, and I doubled it over to 32 steps, again showing the importance of repeated patterns. Let's convert that to MIDI and mess with those rolls. Here's that final hat pattern. Alright, let's go for a snare now. And I'm just going to change that last roll. So that's another repeating pattern that just switches up the very end. Let's get an open hat going now. Alright, let's work on some 808s. So let's draw those in. And up a couple octaves so we make sure we're hitting the right notes. Alright, let's drop that down to C3. I just have a long spins on here. Let's see how that sounds to start. Okay, I like that, but I want to use a different type of spins 808. Maybe something a little bit more custom. And those are going to come from my 808 ARMORY kits, also down below. Let's go to ARMORY Volume 2, Spins. Try some of these out. Let's touch up that pattern now. I'm going to take a couple hits out. That'll do it for the 808 pattern, and that's going to sound like this. So that'll take care of that first hook section. Now let's work on a verse. Alright, let's throw a couple interesting sounds in there to create some variety. And let's jump into a second 808 pattern now. And we're going to make this one maybe a little bit simpler. Not going to make it any more detailed. Let's just run that now. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video this week. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Kits are linked down below. See y'all next week. Peace.
Mixing here.